The joys of ownership. The joys of house ownership. This is about a 2000 and I'm gonna guess a 5-ish 22 kilowatt Generac generator whose slip rings in it has actually degraded to the point to where it just chews brushes up to the point where they only last about 3 or 4 hours. A set of brushes will run you about 20 bucks on eBay or digging around online. Takes about a week to get here. The last set lasted about 4 hours, but it's not going to break on a warm sunny day. It's going to break in the middle of the night when it's freezing, it's raining or snowing, and then you've got all the ladies in the house screaming at you because there's no power, and then of course your solar system battery is about to die, so you're just counting the seconds before the hurricane hits. So let's tear into this thing and see if we can't get it fixed. Lid comes up, front cover simply just comes off, pull it. Engine stator. You got to take this back cover off, these top panels off. I made the mistake one time of removing both of these panels and running it, and then my keypad turned into that after about 10 minutes because the heat couldn't get out and just basically turned it into a giant convection oven. So make sure you run these freaking panels on there. All of your bolts on here that take all the covers and whatnot off are going to be 10 millimeter. I picked up this little drill to 3/8 adapter, and then I've got some more little guys you pick up. They're not exactly for removing head bolts, but for little things like this, it'll make your job so much quicker. The slip rings I found, I hope, are these little guys right here. There's your part number. I hope it works on the 22 kilowatt. As far as I can tell, this is about the only slip rings they use on just about all of their generators that are about 12 kilowatts and up. So we'll find out whether it fits or not. You got to take these out. There's one way down there. And then you've got to remove your covers. Then you've got bolts down there, and down there as well. We'll get those off. I've actually opened this so many times that I've actually warped the back cover to replace these things in the middle of the night. But hell, it's probably about too far gone now anyway, so screw it. I just bend it open. Fan bolt is going to be a 14 millimeter. You'll need a fan pulley to get that off. You will not get that off without breaking it without one. 10 millimeter right here for the exhaust. You don't have to take this one off, and you're just gonna wiggle it back and forth till it pops off. Here's the flywheel puller you're gonna need if you go to Harbor Freight. Here's your item number. They work pretty good, can't complain. You'll need this, and you'll need these two. You will need to loosen that bolt first, about 5 rounds back. There you see, I got it round out about, I don't know, 1/4 of an inch or so. That's all you need. These little bolts right here are 13 millimeter or a 1/2 inch. Either one should work. If you do just run a couple of threads in, these threads are aluminum. They will strip. When you try to pull this off, ask me how I know. So you line up the center right on your bolt, and then you get your 14 on here and you start cranking. Of course, it's going to turn the engine, so I need to put you down for a moment. As soon as you hear the pop, you're good. Take this bolt out, it's a long one. Yank your fan off. Now you can take your exhaust off. And I don't know if you can see them, but there, too much zoom. There's your slip rings, or what's left of them. They're supposed to be perfectly smooth and wonderful. I'll show you what they're supposed to look like. That's what they're supposed to look like. So, yeah, completely shot. It's basically like sandpaper on your fingers, running at 3,000 RPMs. Not gonna end well. Here's your brushes. That's what's getting eat up. These little guys right here. You got two wires. Make sure you remember which is which. I got blue in the front, black in the back. You got two 8mm right there that hold those in. You're gonna need to take all four of these out. And you're gonna need some wood under here to support this, because this will fall off, and this sucker is stupid heavy. All right, take your 4 bolts out, and you're gonna take these engine mount bolts out. Those are 13mm as well. I got me a dead blow hammer, which has basically got pellets in it, or sand of some sort. That way when you hit this to knock it loose, you're not gonna damage the aluminum, or at least reduce your chances of breaking it. Oh, here comes the fun. Just tap on it all the way around, it will come out. Don't do like I did and forget to take your freaking brushes out. Now those are broken and worthless. Genius, absolute genius. Now we have to get this bearing off. We'll get the slip rings out. Here's a bearing puller set that I got off of Amazon. I can put some links down below if you guys are interested. It was like 35 bucks. So basically these little clamps are gonna slide in behind this, and we're gonna pull it off. Here's how. Okay, you're gonna get your bearing puller behind the bearing like that. And you're gonna run 2 screws through your 2 openings, and you're gonna put your brace on the front like this. It's gonna look a little something like that when you get it all set up. Even though these threads are dangerously close to coming out, I'll see if I can't snug them up. Just give me a little bit more bite. Okay, here's what it's gonna look like when you got set up. I stuck a little bolt right here in the end so this wouldn't go down in there and damage the threads. And basically you're going to torque this sucker down until this bearing pulls off. So I've got the adjustable metric on there. So if you watch the bearing, you should see it slide as I'm turning the wrench. And just like that, your bearing is off. Okay, here's our slip rings. Here's your wire coming out of one side of it. You need to figure out which ring is feeding that wire. You don't want to get these backwards, or else a polarity in your electromagnet, which is all this is getting is 12 volts. And the stronger the 12 volt signal, the more this energizes, turning this into a giant electromagnet, which of course when you're pulling more power, it's got a stronger magnetic field, which will put more energy into these, which causes them to arc and then eventually burn up. But we just need to continuity these out to figure out which one's which. So our back ring is this wire right here. So we got to make sure that on our new ring, it matches up exactly the same. Okay, your slip ring connections are crimped way back there. I don't know if you can see the crimp on it or not, but we got to pick that up and cut it so we can get these wires off without breaking them, because if you break this little guy going to these windings, well, oh, it's gonna hurt. Okay, so we're just gonna snip these little guys off. Now we need to rotate it and do the same thing to the other side, and that'll be fine. Okay, we got those little guys up. Let's get rid of them. Same process for the brushes, but we got to be careful because those wires are connected. So as I turn it, you should see it start to move. to readjust. I went ahead and snipped the wires right there because I didn't want to take a chance of them grabbing a hold of those copper and unwinding and breaking anything. So we're going to go ahead and finish getting this off. All right. That's it. I'll take it apart. Well, our parts look almost identical. So I'd say this is definitely what we're looking for. Yep, that would be it. Perfect. Okay, so now our new leads have to go through these little, I don't know, spirals or whatever, but you got to be very careful. You got to do it one or both at the same time. One lead is a little longer than the other one, so you can get it started up here, rotate it around, and get this one started. And as you go through, you'll clip off all the excess. There it is with everything assembled back. I used a 33 millimeter socket to tap the bearing back on. Get it just to the taper on the shaft. Give a little space in there. I used some, I don't have any aluminum crimpers, so I actually had to use some butt connectors. You got to scrape some of the coating off of the copper wire to make a good contact, and then you're going to crimp it together in there, and that should hold it pretty well. You can also put some dielectric grease in there too to keep the water out, but it should be fairly well protected for hopefully a long time. But there's your brushes, and I will get this thing reassembled.